Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Mitch from BD Audio, where we like to dyno amps down under. On tonight's episode, we have been hooked up big time. RECOIL Australia has graciously sent us a care package. In this care package, we have 3 4-channels, we have 2 monoblocks, a 5-channel, and a couple of testing tools, as well as a shirt and some lanyards. I must admit, I love the lanyards. They have a built-in bottle opener. Absolutely love that. Now, this is a sponsored video, or videos. This will probably be a 3 or 4-part video. What we're going to be doing first is testing the 3 4-channels. We'll then do another video where we're testing the 2 monoblocks. We'll be testing a 5-channel, and we'll be testing the testing equipment. Now, as I said, this is a sponsored video. RECOIL have reached out and sent us over all of this stuff to test. So this stuff will obviously be going back to them. However, my review will be my opinion of my own that will not be justified of what most companies say. They will be getting an honest review, which will be in my own opinion. And let's face it, numbers don't lie. So if these amps are not going to make power, you'll see that yourself. Now, what I would like you to do is jump on over to Facebook, find their page, and then hit that like button. Make sure you follow them. They've got some good gear coming out by the look of it. You can also go onto their website, and as you can see, they have a fair bit of stuff. They have amplifiers, subwoofers, speakers, as well as other components for testing purposes and to get your system set up correctly. Now, this is the DII range. This is the new and advanced model. We have 3 4-channels to test. We have the 400.4, the 700.4, and the 1100.4. At the time of this video, these are the prices. Now let's pop these boxes open and show you what's inside. And there we go, guys. They are the 3 amps. Again, the 400.4, the 700.4, and the 1100.4. Now, it's just hard for me to try and explain how small of a form factor these amps are. As you can see, my hand, they are all virtually the same or smaller than. The first amp is 140 times 140 times 50. The next one is only 20 mil bigger, 160 times 140 times 50. And then the last one is 180 times 140, 150. I'll also throw up the equivalents of those measurements in inches. Now, the way that these amplifiers have been made are to suit factory cars. You will notice that in the kit, you do get some mounting hardware. You do get some Allen keys, but you also get wire ferrules. That is very odd to find from a manufacturer supplying wire ferrules. Then you also get some RCA pigtails. And as I said, these amplifiers, they're made to be smart with the car. So you do get these wire pigtails, so which you have your male RCAs on one end, and you have your wire connections, which are to wire directly to your head unit. And in doing so, you also have a mode which activates the amp to use an RCA turn on, which I will show you when we get to a point. And because of these pigtails, the amp is actually already got pre-programmed in for a high level input. So by wiring these directly from your head unit straight into the amplifiers, the amplifier will detect that high input voltage when it has the RCAs and automatically drop it to what is needed. Now, going off the ratings of what these are meant to do, the first one, the 400.4, is meant to do 60 watts times 4 at 4 ohms, 100 watts times 4 at 2 ohms, and 200 watts bridged at 4 ohms. The 700.4 is meant to do 95 times 4 at 4 ohms, 150 times 4 at 2 ohms, and 300 at 4 ohms bridged. The last amplifier is the 1100.4. That one is rated 180 watts times 4 at 4 ohms, 270 watts times 4 at 2 ohms, or 560 at 4 ohms bridged. So here we go, guys. This is the first side of the amplifier, or the amplifiers. You will notice that they are all identical. Firstly, you have your auto turn on. You have DC, which is what using those pigtails would be. It's your high level input. You then have your VOC, which is audio frequency input. So I'm assuming that that means it detects a frequency out of your RCAs automatically from the head unit, which will turn it on. Or you have remote, which is your typical remote wire turn on. So then you have your input RCAs. Now, amazingly enough, these are Tiffany style, or what is also called panel mount. So I really like that they've done that on a budget sort of line amplifier. Really keeps it nice and tidy. You also do have inputs as well as an output. And then you have your configuration, either a 2 or a 4-channel switch. Now on this side of the amplifiers, you will notice that they are majority the same. You have a 4-gauge inputs on the 400.4 and the 700.4. On the 1200.4, you do have a remote, which is different to the others. You will notice here at the top and in the middle, they are like a weird little push pin. So there's a hole that you push in, which opens a spot and allows you to run your remote wire directly into that hole and clamp it. And I'm assuming they're doing that for maybe space saving. But they'd work quite well because they do physically hold that wire in place. And then you have what looks like maybe 10 gauge for your speaker terminals. And then you have your channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. And then to bridge, you have your negative left and your positive right. And then on top, you have a hideaway panel, which has got all your settings. So if we undo the 2 screws, flip off this panel, again, really nice design. You then have a frequency, a crossover, a gain, and guess what? Each of the channels have a clip. Let me show you that. Again, really nice that they've included this. You do have a clip light for channel 1 and 2 and channel 3 and 4. Really good job, guys. Now, I do apologize for the mess here. Obviously, there's a fair bit of wires running around, but I thought I'd demonstrate this. First off, we have the simple remote wire connected. So as you see, you push the pin in, you put the wire in, nice and simple. Now, I do have a head unit just wired up to the bench, just for demonstration purposes. And I do have a speaker wired up, which will probably just pay, I think, 100 hertz. So what we're going to do first is we're going to flick the switch. As you can see, light on the amplifier comes straight on, head unit's powering on, and this is just using a standard set of RCAs. So what we'll do is we'll turn it up just to make sure it's working. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but the speaker is working. We'll switch the remote wire off, head unit turns off, amplifier turns off. The next one is what we're going to do. The remote wire has now been disconnected. We're going to plug in the piggybacked wires from the head unit, which we've got over here, wired directly to the back of the head unit, with a jumper lead running to the pigtails. We will now plug these into the amplifier. Nothing has changed. We will flick the switch for the head unit. You will notice the head unit will power on. And then the amplifier will power on and scare the living hell out of me because I forgot to turn this volume down. But as you can hear, the speaker is working again. So that's the difference between running a remote wire and the DC, which is your high level input. So there you go, guys. So with these particular amplifiers, very, very simple. It's just a matter of flicking that switch from remote to DC, which basically then allows you to not have to run a remote wire. Now, there are other ways around this as well by factory head units. You don't have to physically run it off the back of the head unit. You could essentially adapt these to a rear speaker, which would then also have that high level input, which would then automatically adapt to switch this amplifier on when it detects that noise or that music coming through that speaker. But I guess there's nothing left to do. Let's strap these amps up to the dyno and see what kind of power they make. First off, 400.4. Here we go. All right, guys, you know what time it is. We're going to slap these back plates off and we're going to see what's inside. We're going to do all three at once. Here we go. And there we go, guys. That's the inside. I tell you what, there's a lot of stuff going on the inside of this for how small they are. And again, this is my handler's comparison. They are tiny. But let's give you a closer look. Well, there you go, guys. Numbers don't lie. And I tell you what, I love these little amps. For a little company that's growing fairly quickly in Australia, they're actually doing really well. Especially the compatibility of these amps. Not only are you able to wire them into new factory style cars, as well as their compatibility into fitting into small spaces. Again, as a comparison, they are tiny. I love the Tiffany style RCAs. I love the heavy duty casings. I love the small little compact terminals that they have. And especially, I love the power that they make. All bar one exceeded my expectations. I thought maybe they might hit just on rated, but you know what? They smashed it out of the park, except for one odd test, which I don't know exactly which one. But again, just to recall, this is the RECOIL's DII versions. We have the 400.4 at the front, the 700.4 at the left, and the 1100.4 at the right. I'm going to throw up the prices again here for you. Now make sure that you hit your local dealer or supplier, or even jump on their website and make sure you get hooked up with this new brand. As always, guys, if you like what we do on this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. And as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Mitch from BD Audio, where we like to dyno amps down under. I'm tuning out. See ya.